Yay! We're doing it! Hooray! Hooray! It's a special day. I've got my special microphone so I can sing you special songs. All right, while I wait for people to join, I'll just get hydrated. Oh my God, people are here. Okay. Welcome, 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 beautiful humans, to the 13 sale mistakes women make. And I've just realized that I have forgotten the hat situation. How is it going to apply upon my headphones? I have not considered thus far. We will get there. We will get there. Welcome, 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 friends. I am so excited that we're going to go on this journey together. If you're watching, can you please comment in where you're listening in from, and if you can hear me okay, and then we can get this party started. So here's the thing. I have recognized, after working with tens of thousands of clients and being in business for 21 years now, that too many of us are running our businesses like they're in witness protection, like they're invisible, or apologetic, or allergic to money. And today we are going to fix that. And if you have any friends in business that you think might need to hear this, make sure that you tag them in here as well, or message them about it. You're most welcome to take screenshots and share this on social media, all the things. It's just a lovely little party, because what we want to get is we want to get women and good-hearted humans to stop hiding and start earning. We know that when women and good-hearted humans have money in their hands, they do incredible things with it. So let's get started, because this is such important work to do. So why should you listen to me? I have created over $15 million in sales now by only working 10 hours a week. I'm the winner of 7 business awards, including People's Choice Business Coach Award twice. I've taught tens of thousands of business owners, and I'm a global best-selling author with over 500,000 books being used worldwide to help people set their goals and achieve their goals in life and in business. And most of all, what I want you to know, like, I was not born good at sales. I was not just a natural entrepreneur. You know how you hear of people who are like, oh yeah, I was selling like rocks at a multi-level marketing scheme that I set up when I was in grade 3. I was like, wow, amazing. No, I'm like the hippy dippy fairy child who was very distracted by a lot of things, and really was just, all she dreamed of was having a big cardboard box that she could turn into an art studio. I'm not even joking. That was one of my biggest dreams, was like, could I get a cardboard box that's large enough for me to have a hidey hole that I could write books in? For me, I really had to learn how to build my business and sales muscles. Like, I realized at a certain point in my business that my spiritual and my creative muscles were like, whoa, so strong. Like, I've been working them so hard. And my business and marketing skill, my muscles were completely, I said, like, I'd never used, so I'd never built on them. And so I really had to build those business and sales muscles intentionally. And in that process, like, I have learned what works. I know the mistakes that stop you from making money. If this neurodivergent, fairy-brained hippie can stop making really large sales mistakes and start making big cash, like, so can you. And over the next hour, I am going to help you stop making those big sales mistakes and stop leaving cash on the table. And right at the end, I'm also going to let you know, I want you to know in advance that I'm going to let you know about something that I think you're going to find amazing and super powerful if you would like to work with me further. But in the meantime, I just want to give you as much value and insight and ways to make cash as soon as possible. So here's the win with all of these mistakes that you might be making. You're leaving money on the table. And when you stop making these mistakes, you'll be making so much more money. So when we're thinking about these mistakes, I don't want you to go, oh, I'm making that mistake. Like, oh, I'm terrible. Like, no, let's not do that. What we want to do is like, oh my God, I'm making that mistake. Therefore, there is money that I can collect. There's money on the table. Like, how exciting is that? I love knowing where I've made mistakes because I can fix those mistakes and then I can make really beautiful things and revenue from that. We really need to fix what is broken. Like, I have found that we have cast like a really distorted relationship to selling. We've cast it as a villain and we project so much onto selling. So if you're feeling called, if you want to share in the comments some of your like deepest, darkest beliefs about selling. So for example, you might believe that selling is scammy. You might believe it's unethical. We can believe the very worst about selling. We think about like the used car salesman. And it's like we're rating it by like the very worst like the very lowest denominator, the very worst possibility of selling. That like lowest denominator does not give you the radical amount of breadth and possibility there is for selling. And to recognize that selling done right is beautiful and effortless, and you feel so joyful about it when you are being sold to in a way that is ethical and loving and exciting and delicious. It's a service. And yet we like cast this like the worst part of it. It's like the very worst TV show that you've ever watched. And then going, well, all of TV is shit. All of TV is the worst. And that's just not true because you like have watched the most amazing TV shows too, right? It doesn't stop you from watching TV because you've watched one terrible thing. It doesn't mean that you cast like this belief on every bit of television from there. Malia says, my broken sales belief is that the internet is so huge that it's impossible to be found by the people that need us. Completely. And we can also swap it and go, the internet, it's so huge that it's more possible than ever to be found by the people that need us. Deanna says selling is trying to convince someone of something rather than them choosing with their free will. Completely understandable. Instead of going, and it's so funny, right? Because if you think about it, if you aren't selling, then what you're deciding is that you're robbing people of their free choice because they're never even going to get the opportunity to know about you and to decide for themselves whether they want to work with you because you've done your job of selling and clearly communicating. Anne says, I always feel like anyone can do it if I can, so I shouldn't charge or try to sell it. And all of that is not true. Nicola says, as a nurse, I'm used to giving my worth for free, so it's been hard for me. Greer says there's a lot of noise and competition competing for attention. Megan from Neuro Curiosity Club said, selling is what got me cancelled. It doesn't feel safe. Mm-hmm. I've also I've had people try to cancel me for selling as well or for daring to raise my prices. And it just hasn't worked because I'm still here and I've still made millions and I'm still doing big and beautiful work in the world that's really important for the people that I serve. So we can believe things like it's too manipulative. that selling is too hard, that it's not for people like us. And how on earth can we have a healthy relationship with abundance and business growth when we have such a broken relationship to sales? Like the thing that is going to give us what we need. It's the path to help us create the abundance and business growth. So instead, what we want to do is learn how to sell in a way that aligns with our soul and serves the world. Because at its highest frequency, selling isn't scare me. Selling is sacred service. Selling is clear communication. Selling is giving people the chance to say yes. And without sales, we don't have any clients. We don't have any impact. We have no income and we have no sustainability. So, for example, I know of two people who are healers and have such big, beautiful gifts to share with the world. And one person had learned that they needed to grow their business and their marketing skills and spend a part of their time each week in marketing and finding their clients. And they charged good money. They charged really good money. And as they got more and more fully booked, they would increase their prices again and again and again, to the point that they were charging $1,000 an hour for a healing session. And people would pay it happily. And I got to work with that person for over 10 years, and my business was growing at the same time. And I saw how valuable it was for me. And I got to go on this incredible mentorship from this remarkable human because of the way that they did their business and the way that they charged. They made it so sustainable for themselves, and they could look after themselves brilliantly, and they could work for a much longer period of time. Their business was truly sustainable. And then on the other hand, I know another healer who never quite got the marketing or the pricing. They were always hung up on how much to charge, whether it was going to be by donation, whether it was just whatever people could afford. And if they did charge, it was in really small amounts. And consequently, they needed to hustle in lots of other areas to try and create money just to even have a living wage. And what it meant for me as a client was that it was really difficult for me to book in with them for a session. They didn't have their systems created for me to book in. They didn't have much time because they were too busy trying to hustle in other areas to try and create money. And they were chronically burnt out. And so as much as I would have loved to have learned from her, I wasn't able to create a long-term mentorship with her purely because of the lack of ways that she had built her business and marketing muscles. So can you see that it is of the highest good of all to work out this business and this marketing stuff? That you get to help people on an even bigger level when you dial this in and when you clearly communicate and you create a sustainable business. It is truly miraculous. Time for a change. See how this bad boy fits over my headphones, or not at all. Oh, maybe this way? Like kind of more like a cartoon situation. Let's see if I can go. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Another butterfly situation. Magnificent. She's magnificent. So when we go through these mistakes, I want you to share in the comments if this is something that you recognize that you're doing. Because I want you to, like, it's not like you have to out yourself like, oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's more like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. Therefore, I am leaving money on the table. Therefore, there is things that I can change and I will get paid. Hooray, hooray, hooray. So if you notice yourself in these mistakes, be like, yeah, you got me. Yes, you got me. And that's where my money is, because I'm telling you where your money is in these mistakes. Mistake number one, your business is in witness protection. Your business is invisible. It's hard to find links or offers. There's no website. If no one knows, nobody's going to buy. Like, some of you are acting like your business is a dirty little secret. You never post about it. You kind of whisper about your offers maybe once. You hide your sales links. Like, no wonder people can't find you. If you say to me, I'm selling this, am I able to Google it and find it straight away? Am I able to go on to your social media profiles and find links to it immediately, post about it straight away? Am I able to find your website? On that website, am I immediately able to find that offer on your website? If I can't, your business and your offer is invisible and it's in witness protection mode. And I want to tell you a little story about this because it always makes me cackle when I think about it. A really, really long time ago, and I'll share it because this person has shared about this publicly as well from her side, and it's in her books and it's fantastic. So I have known Denise Duffield Thomas for a really, really long time. We've been business friends for a really long time. And so this was yonks and yonks ago, well over a decade ago. And it was like one of her first iterations of Money Boot Camp when it was called Lucky Bitch Boot Camp. And I remember hunting around trying to find it, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it on Google. I couldn't find it on her website. I couldn't find it on social media or anything. And I was like, babes, is this in witness protection? Do you not want people to buy this? DDT, tell what's going on. And she was like, oh yeah, there's a bit of an invisibility cloak, isn't there? And she worked through whatever was going energetically. She fixed it practically. And like, that's the miraculous thing about DDT, is that she sees a problem, she fixes it. Like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And this woman's gone on to create tens of millions of dollars. Like, I think she's up to 30 something million dollars in revenue. She is remarkable. And I still cackle about the fact that at one point she had her offer in witness protection mode as well. Like, it happens to all of us. I've absolutely done it myself. And so it's just really great when you start thinking about it from that level and go, oh, okay, I need to actually bring this out into the open so people can really easily find it. I had another client say to me, oh my God, I just launched this thing and I've had 0 sales. And I was like, oh, okay. Quickly Googled, looked at website, looked at social media, could not find where to buy this thing whatsoever. And I also knew I was on her mailing list, and I was like, I haven't got an email about it. Babes, what's going on? And she was like, oh, yeah, no, I haven't done any of those things. I'm like, do that and you will make money. And turns out, oh my God, she did. Yay! Yay! So any ways that you can make things that much more visible, that much more findable, so people can actually give you money, is gold. So share if you know that that you've been in witness protection. Messy Menopause podcast, sorry, says, haha, my business has been in witness protection mode. And then I had an incredible wake-up call. The big C, all good now, 4 years out. And I realized if I died, my gift for the world would have died. Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Bless you. I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so glad you went through that and came out the other side, and that you took that big lesson, and you were like, I will not play this game anymore. Anne says, I'm totally doing what the unsuccessful therapist was doing. It's helpful to see examples where I'm doing it. Laurie says, I've been in witness protection for 20 years. Is it time to come out of the closet? Or are you saying I actually am a witness protection? If you're a witness protection, that's why we can still build a business. It just doesn't have your face attached to it. Okay. All right. Mistake number 2. Is this something that you're doing? Winning at the vague Olympics. Your audience should not need a detective kit to figure out what you sell. Like, you need to really clearly answer, what is it? Who is it for? How does it help? What can people expect from using it? Why should they learn from you? And I also notice, especially for us hippie creative types, that we can also turn things into a bit of a hippie word salad. We're like, what's the most creative way I can name this program and describe this program? And I'll put all my creativity into that. Wrong answer. No, what we need in a title is really clearly knowing what it is, what it's for. Story time. I used to live in this kind of town that was like a hippie commune. It was an ex-hippie commune. It was beautiful. And there was a guy there who was a beautiful body worker, healer. And I was chatting to him one day and had a session with him. And I mentioned that I write books. And he was like, oh, I want to write a book. And I was like, amazing. What is it about? And he said, well, it's going to be called The Finger That Points at the Moon. And I was like, okay, so what is it about? And it's like, well, it's this whole like philosophy, like, are you looking at the moon if somebody points the moon to you, or are you looking at the finger that's pointing to the moon? But it's really all about, like the deep spiritual concepts of our life and how to live. Like, he belonged to a particular spiritual tradition, and the concepts of that spiritual tradition. And that spiritual tradition is it's a really, popular, well-known one. And I said to him, I think it sounds amazing. And I would probably call it something so people can really clearly understand exactly what that book is. Not about the finger pointing to the moon, because you had to tell me the whole story about what that all means in order for me to even get what that is. And he was like, oh, okay. So where are you like trying to be super creative and thoughtful in the way that you're talking about things, instead of being super simple and really clearly saying what it is, how it helps people? One thing I have noticed as well is sometimes we are vague when we feel unsure about what we're offering. And this is where we really need to build our self-belief and also listen to what our customers are saying that they get out of it as well. Like, we need to listen to other people more. We need to really understand where people are at, what's helping them, and what they're struggling with as well. So, for example, one of my first programs that I brought out in 2008 was called Creative Goddess. And I originally thought, and I marketed it as this kind of like a way to weave spirituality and creativity together. And people bought it and they went through it. And the thing I heard over and over again from people who went through it was that it absolutely clobbered their creative blocks. So people who had like 20-year artist blocks, decades long writing blocks, doing this program, it was gone. And then they went on to like just be incredibly prolific. And hearing that and seeing that that was the transformation they were going through, it actually changed the marketing message of what I was sharing, because I knew from listening to people that that suffering from creative blocks was a thing that a lot of creative people experience and they wanted to solve. Whereas just weaving creativity and spirituality together is not necessarily a main problem that people are looking to solve. And so when I sold it more as the creative block solution, then it sold even more. So we need to take the time to actually find out how it helps people and then feed that back into the way that we market it. Does that make sense? Have you ever found yourself getting very vague about what you're doing and trying to name it in the most creative ways possible? I'm just looking at the comments now. Kerry says, I literally have a client that's been trying to book in with me for 3 weeks and hasn't been able to find a time. I feel seen. Jenny says, I thought I was doing okay, but there's more I could do. Yes, and the miraculous thing about there being more things that you could do is it's money. It's money for you. Hooray, hooray. Okay. Now, mistake number 3. Believing that word of mouth is the only way to grow your business. So many business owners believe that if they just do a good enough job, then all their clients will tell everyone about them and they will be fully booked purely on word of mouth alone. And I want you to know, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. I do not know one single business owner who has generated a fully booked business on word of mouth alone. And I feel like the whole word of mouth, fully booked from word of mouth myth, it's like the knight in shining armor. And we think I'm just going to wait for word of mouth to come rescue me. It's like damsel in distress. It abdicates your power and your responsibility in the situation. It's like waiting for that knight to come save the damsel in distress. And the reality is that you can learn selling and marketing skills. Yes, it will take time and energy. Yes, you will be moved out of your comfort zone. But in doing so, you're going to grow. Your business and marketing muscles will grow. And you are going to see such a big change in your revenue from that. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable to learn new things. Just like when you learned how to walk, just when you learned how to read and write, just when you learn any new skill, it feels uncomfortable. But that does not mean that it is not meant for you. That does not mean that you are not able to create that. You absolutely can. You are powerful. You can do hard things. You can learn new skills. You can go to the business and marketing gym and build those muscles, and those muscles will pay off big time for you. Just remember, I was that creative hippie who had no idea how I was going to make a business, how I was going to earn money doing the things that I loved. And it was really in the learning new skills, really building them, even when it was uncomfortable, even when I had to stretch myself. That was my point of power. And that's the thing that's enabled me to create literally millions of dollars because I chose to learn that skill. Word of mouth does not sell things for me. I get a little bit of word of mouth, but then it's like, and they'll come and they'll get my free stuff. And then it's my job to convert them into a sale if it's the right thing for them. But I have to market, and I have to market hard in order for people to know about that. So, does anyone else believe that they can build a business from word of mouth? Ginny says, "That was me, and it didn't work." I don't know anyone it's worked for. I don't know anyone that it's worked for. And I think so many business owners fall into that trap. Mistake number 4, no deadline, no decision. A lot of women do not like to create timed events around launches, live rounds, or sales. They feel like it's too artificial, too pushy, too much pressure. So share in the comments if you ever felt stressed about creating like a deadline around an offer because you're like, oh no, but it's artificial. It's, oh, I don't know how to make it. And what if people miss out? And shouldn't it just be open year round? Here's the thing. Psychology teaches us that humans delay making decisions for as long as possible. No deadline offers means that they will not make a decision. And when there's no end date, people will keep on saying, maybe later. And later equals never. Deadlines instead will create clarity. They give your audience permission to choose. And without them, your business stays in limbo. So, example, years ago, I remember that I was running a course and I would run it each year by doing it in sort of terms, and I'd offer it like 3 times a year. And by offering it like that, at that point, this is probably 12, maybe, no, 15 years ago, because that's how long I've been in business, forever. It was doing around 250 enrollments a year. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I would earn even more enrollments if people could just sign up at any time. Didn't like have like terms that people had to sign up in, and instead they could just sign up whenever. And over the next year, I did it like that, and people could buy it at any point in time. And I had 5 people buy it over that year. From 250 people to 5 people. 5. It was such an expensive lesson to learn, but what a great lesson to learn. It's one that I've never forgotten, and now I will always use some kind of deadline in order to get people to make a decision. And it can be a deadline on all different kinds of options. So, for example, it could be a live round where you have calls that start by a certain date. So people need to sign up by then in order to join. It could be a deadline for a discount. It could be a deadline for a early bird bonus. It could be a deadline for a group round where there's a bunch of people going through something together. It could be a deadline for so many different reasons. It could be a deadline because you're going to not let people buy it after that. So many ways that you can get people to go, am I in? Need to decide by now? Okay, great. And then it helps people over the line instead of them just continuously putting it off and off and off. Mistake number 5. You're holding don't give me money energy. This is all the ways that our own energy about receiving can kind of fuck us up. The energy of, I don't want to take people's money. I don't know if I'm really good enough. Yeah, people are doing it tough. I can't take their money from them. If I love it, I should just do it for free. But I have more than other people, so I shouldn't have this blessing in my life. Do you ever have these kinds of feelings, when you do have all of those feelings, it creates this energy of hiding, this kind of apologizing, this kind of awkward energy, even without you even saying anything. There's just like this awkward radiance of, I'm not really comfortable with being paid, or I have bad feelings about being paid. And money and people are energy. It is repelled by your inner resistance. And it also shows up in your marketing far more than you think. And instead, what you need to shift into is, I'm open, I'm ready, I would love to work with my right people, I value my time and my energy, and I am happy to receive abundance for my work. The next mistake I see women making all the time is overgiving. Women are world class at overgiving. We overdeliver, we overshare, we overteach, and we hope that magically one day somebody will accidentally, magically find out what we have to offer and throw money at us. We think if we just give more, give more, give more, that will solve all of our business problems. Who's guilty of this? The spoiler alert is they won't. If you don't ask, you don't get. Asking for the sale isn't pushy, it is generous. It gives people the chance to actually know what you offer, how you could help them, and what gives them the chance to say yes to what they actually need. It's building that trust factor so people are like, oh, I see the, like, this could help me. This is the transformation I need. I'm ready to go on this one. I'm looking at the comments now, and so many people are saying, yes, oh my God, it's me. It's me. Somebody says, I came from the nonprofit world. This is really hard for me to get over. Completely understandable. And when we can shift our energy around this, and we can, huge miracles will come our way. Right, mistake number 7, doing sliding scales and pay what you want. They create an enormous amount of confusion and anxiety for the business. I see a lot of people do this now, feeling like it is more intersectional and accessible. And you can completely disagree with me on that, and this is completely okay. And this is absolutely my experience when it comes to buying something on a sliding scale or pay what you want. It creates so much anxiety in the buyer that the vast majority of them will not buy. People do not know what is fair. They get all up in their head of, oh God, what amount should I be paying? Is that too scammy? I want to only, like, every human in the world wants to pay less. We all love a freaking bargain. Nobody wants to pay more than they should. And so these sliding scales and pay what you want create a huge amount of anxiety. And a confused mind will say no. What I recommend instead, if you want to try and have more accessible points, you could create an ecosystem of possibilities instead. You could have some free offers. You could have some lower priced offers. You could, if you want, you could build a scholarship system in. That's what we do, is that we regularly offer scholarship rounds for people to be able to access one of my programs for free. But we are not placing all of that onto the buyer who's trying to make a decision. What I often find as well, especially around the pay what you can amount, is that what you're energetically saying is, I'm not really sure, and so I'll just get other people to decide for me. And that is not clear, confident energy. A clear price creates safe confident buyers because they're like, this person knows what they're doing. This person knows how it can help, and this is their price. When you're getting them to try and make that decision and they don't even know what this thing is or how valuable it is or what they're going to get out of it, and they're just taking a huge leap of faith, it's like you're placing like all of your power and responsibility onto them, and they're just going to go, this is not my decision to make. This is not my decision to make. So have a think about different ways that you could build that in. And if you're like, no, I am absolutely wedded to sliding scales because that is the best accessibility, amazing, go for it. I just want to offer up this perspective and how it appears to the buyer. Mistake number 8, having a short or even no sales page. Here's what we know after decades and decades of research, and even now in this day of 2025, all of the statistics show that long sales pages always win. They always convert more sales than the short ones. People need time to be convinced. They need time to build that know, like, trust factor with you. They need time to go, is this the right thing for me? What am I going to get out of it? Is this the person that can help me? Like, they need to actually trust you in order to hand cash over to you. Of course they do. That's really important. You know what? I feel like this needs a love heart situation. That's nice. That's perfect. What a beauty. A 2-paragraph blurb is not going to cut it. It is not going to give people the chance to build that know, like, trust factor, know that it's the right thing for them. Answer all of the questions. If you want big money, you're going to need to give people a big old juicy detailed sales page. You need testimonials. You need comprehensive features and benefits. You need to preemptively answer all of their questions because, spoiler alert, people, like, if you're like, oh, if people have a question, they'll just ask me. No, they're not going to go over to their email and then type in your email address and then ask you that question. Absolutely not. Maybe 1 in 100 people will ask you the question that they're thinking. So you need to preemptively answer all of their questions on the sales page. Yes, a long sales page is going to take work. Yes, it's going to press your buttons. Yes, it's going to make you build your copywriting skills. But yes, they make you the most amount of money. If anybody's here in my academy, who's ever bought something from a long page after scrolling and scrolling? You have, because it worked. And there's a part of you that's like, God damn, if they've got this amount of words on a page, they really believe in this product. Like, if you look at my academy sales page, it is long. It is a lengthy baby. And I've had so many people say to me, you know what? After like the 15th scroll, you had me. I was like, well, that's a lot of evidence. Like, that's right. It is a lot of evidence. Enjoy. And I want you to know, like, I have rarely run ads. I run at really high profit margins. And all that's because I write real long sales pages that convert real well. So if you want to make more money, increase the length of your sales page. If you don't know how to do this, you need to take my Sales Star program. You can buy it individually, or if you're in the academy, you get it for free. But this copywriting skill is the thing that is going to make the most amount of money. If this is the mistake that costs the most amount of money, this is it. If you are making this mistake and no others, you are missing 80, 90 more % of your potential income. It will be so easily for you to double, triple, 10x your income if you go from having like half-assed bullshit paragraph, couple of paragraphs, something you whack together, and actually spend the time on creating a long sales page that actually converts. So hands up, who knows that they need to start writing longer sales pages. Anne says, I hate making long sales pages, but I appreciate them for the information. Looking at myself with that obvious statement. Absolutely. We all I love a long sales page. If something doesn't have a long sales page, I'm like, is this really for me? Andy says, I've been using your goal workbook since 2014 and I really turned my life around. Now I'm trying to get my business to support my new life. I am so happy for you. That's incredible that you've been doing the work. That's just beautiful. Jess says, I hate long sales pages. I skip to the buy now button. Here's the thing about the long sales page. You're not supposed to read the whole thing. You're supposed to skip to the buy now button. Nobody's read all of my long sales pages. Nobody's read word for word. They scroll. And that's why the buy now button appears multiple times on the sales page, just over and over again. Like, you fucking got me. Buy now. You got me. Buy now. Buy now. And along the way, as they're scrolling, they're getting further affirmation that they should be buying. You really are. You say that you hate a long sales page, but it doesn't turn you off from buying. It entices you even more to buy. Mistake number 9, believing testimonials roll in organically. People want to know others have gone before them and loved it. Testimonials equal trust. I once asked a quite well-known copywriter, what's the 3 most important parts of a sales page? And she said, testimonials, testimonials, testimonials. And we laughed, but it was freaking true. If you don't actively collect them, you are starving your business of proof. We are social animals. We don't like going to places that other humans haven't already been. We want to know that it is a safe place to go. We really are like a herd animal, like a sheep. And no, I don't want to get the sheeple like conspiracy theory, that's some horse shit over there. I'm talking as a farming girl, I know what the herd animals are like. And those sheep, they'll just follow each other anywhere. But it's got to be in a cluster. It's like a group mindset. And humans like to think they're so much smarter than that. And it's just not true. So we need to see evidence that other people have bought and that other people are like, this was great. That can be enormously powerful and make so many more sales. And the mistake is in people thinking that testimonials roll in organically, completely unbidden. You're just sitting there and you get this email and you know what? Somebody emails in I love that thing that you did so much that I want to give you this testimonial and I want you to use it on your sales page. Share it on social media. I want people to know. They're not going to do that. Nobody does that. Instead, what you actually have to build in is a system in your workflow to ask for, gather, and share testimonials over and over and over again. So here in Australia, we call tradespeople tradies because that's, of course, we do. Everything's got to be reduced and made into a nickname. But with every single electrician, air conditioning person, plumber, whoever I get through, they have all got it in their system so that I will get a text message or an email a week later saying, hey, did you love our service? If so, can you give us a 5-star review on Google? It would make a huge amount of difference for us as a local business. And if there is any problems at all, please email us, please call us, and we will fix the problem, because they don't want you to take your problem to the reviews, the Google reviews. What they want you to do is call them and they'll try and fix it from there. It is a genius system. Real estate agents, they have their preferred place where So here in Australia, it's like called ratemyagent.com. The things that they will do, like the amount of times they will ask you to rate them on this, because it makes a massive amount of difference to who hires them. So they've all got their systems in place of how to get people to give you reviews. So for me, I have a large number of ways that I collect reviews. Firstly, in all of my courses, both halfway through the course and at the end of the course, there is a little like 1-minute questionnaire. How are you going with this course? What are the big results or aha moments that you're getting out of it? Would you recommend it to other people? And then there's a little checkbox that says, would you be happy for us to share this as an anonymous post, or a post from like as a testimonial from you, or not at all? And so we have that just built in our system now. And so when people go through it, and they can not put anything, that's fine. But it's built in the system now, where people going through a course, twice in a course, they will get asked, what their experience is like. And then we will look through that and decide from there how, like, if it's something that is worth sharing on social media, if it's worth putting on the sales page. Amazing. We also run testimonial competitions, and we run this every 1 to 2 years. And it's a big competition where you can win prizes, including coaching calls with me, t-shirts, crystal dildos, like anything that makes people like go, oh my God, yeah. Or we've given away like 5 years to the Academy, or lifetime Academy membership. For the rest of your life, you get it free. Like, we've done all sorts of crazy prizes for this. And in return, like, in order to enter it, what they have to do is create a 2 to 3 minute long video, upload it onto YouTube, and call it Review of Leonie Dawson's Brilliant Business Life Academy. And the person that has the most amount of likes on their video wins the competition. And like, we tell people, you absolutely can encourage people to go and press all of the likes. This is so funny, but I actually had somebody who so much wanted to win a coaching call with me that she spent $150 on Airtasker to get people to go and press like on her video. Because she's like, if I spend $150 and I win this competition, Leonie's coaching is like worth 10, 20 times that amount. So it is a good spend. And we had a great time having a wonderful coaching session together. Like, that was a genius move. And the benefit of me doing it that way, of getting them to upload on, when people Google review of Leonie Dawson's all of those videos appear. And then I can put them all on sales pages, and I can turn them all into like reels and things like that as well. So I'm a genius, but I had to incentivize the crap out of it. And guess what? I had to have a deadline on it as well. Another thing that I do for testimonials is that in our student groups, our Facebook groups, in comments in our Kajabi course, when I'm running courses, I am keeping a lookout for anybody who writes any kind of comment anywhere. And I screenshot it, crop it, and I'll take out that person's name, because I haven't explicitly said that it can be shared, but it's shared publicly. They've shared it publicly. I just take out any identifying factors. I'll put that on sales pages. I'll add it into sales emails. We store it in a file in Canva for testimonials for that course. So every single time then that I go to market that course, I just go look in the testimonials folder. And I have one of my VAs do the same thing as well. If she's like on a lookout and she can see something that's just happened on social media, screenshot, take the name out, boom, testimonials gathered. So lots of different ways that you can get creative to get people to give you testimonials. They do not roll in organically. All right, mistake number 10. This is something that I see especially happen with healers, body workers, sometimes coaches, is business is slow and they just think, you know what, I'll just add another modality. I've done Kahuna level 2 massage, I'll go do Kahuna level 3 massage. I've done Reiki level 3, I'll go be Reiki master. And that's the thing that will grow my business. And here's the thing, like, yes, increase your skills, but do not believe that that is the thing that's actually going to grow your business. You don't need another certificate, you need clients. Education is great, but if you keep delaying sales until you feel ready or qualified or worthy enough, you're going to be waiting forever. The only qualification you really need is just being one step ahead or knowing a little bit more of your client and building on your skills by doing the work in your sessions. And what do you need in order to do that? You need clients. So you need to do your business and your marketing. Is there any healers or body workers out there that who like to collect their testimonials, collect their certificates? Is anyone else that needs to do it? Messy Menopause says, I have every certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma. I realize it's an addiction. Hello, my name is Louise, and I'm a certification addict. Okay, there is one little point here. People are saying that for some industries, you can't have incentives for testimonials. So, for example, some professional industries. And yes, be aware of like what your code of practice is on that. And also see if there is any ways at all, like if you have on every email that gets sent out, your Google page, so people are more likely to click on it in order to look at reviews. Can you ask people verbally when they're like, what are some ways that you can be thoughtful and creative about it while still being in alignment? All right, collecting certificates. Mistake number 11. You think that one post, one story, one sales email is enough. And it is not. Most of your audience doesn't even see or read it. Research shows that people don't hear a message until they see it 7 times. But that's like pre-social media days. It's likely that it's more around the 15 times per amount. So they need to actually have something appear before them 15 times before they actually see it. You have to market far more than you think you do before anyone even sees it, much less makes a decision on it. Doing a launch of a new offer is not one email. It's not even 3 emails. You would have to be looking at least 10, 20 emails about the one thing before people actually see it and make a decision. I have I've always like tested and played to see what amounts of emails I'll need to send. And I also have seen people who send way more emails than me. So I've seen somebody, I went and counted, they've sent 72 emails in the last week of their launch. And that really blew my mind. I don't know if I'm at the point of doing that yet, but you have to send way more emails before anybody even sees it in their inbox. Before they even make one decision around it, you're going to have to sell and get way more visible and get way more comfortable on this. So once is not enough. You need to 10x that, you need to 20x that. And then you're going to see some big results. And yes, it'll press your buttons, but yes, it's important to do. And there's different ways that you can do it as well to kind of feel like you're reducing the load on people. One thing that I like to do in my sales emails is write down the bottom, like Right. Down the bottom, way under the PS, near where the unsubscribe is. I said, PS, don't want to hear any more about this launch because it's not the right time for you. Totally okay. Just click this link and you won't hear anything more about this launch, and we'll just go back to sending you the free stuff. And that link tags them for no sales for this month. And every time then I go to send out a sales email, they don't receive it. And that reduces the unsubscribes so much. Also, what I like to do is, please ADHD, don't fail me now. No, can't remember. Maybe they'll come back to me. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, of course, I also segment my list so that I already am sending it to people who haven't purchased that thing, who wouldn't be interested in that thing. Like, I segment my list and I'm sending the emails to people who haven't bought it, who are ripe to buy, and who aren't who haven't unsubscribed from hearing something for this month. So that can work really beautifully. Now, who gets into that belief of oh, once is enough? Why haven't I made no sales? Is 72 emails legal? Here's a fascinating thing. Yes, it's completely legal. You could unsubscribe at any point. And I read so many of them. I didn't even buy the thing. And they were actually written so well that I got so much out of reading them. They were great case studies. They were ideas, things that you could implement. It was genuinely fantastic copywriting. I had no upset about that, being on that launch list at all. I didn't buy, but I read almost all of the emails going, fascinating, interesting. It wasn't the same email 72 times over. It was each one was carefully written. Each one was interesting. Each one was really great, on the copywriting front. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I was this is a work of art. I'm so proud of them. And that's the thing, right? It's all about how you're seeing the situation. And people can unsubscribe. There's definitely been times where I have pushed my list harder, especially for a low cost thing like the workbooks. There's been some times where I say to myself, if they're not going to buy a fucking $9 ebook that 500,000 people have used and they're just hanging out just to see the free shit from me, they can unsubscribe. If they're not really willing to buy from me, I'm very happy for them to unsubscribe. If they're not going to buy $9 for this fucking incredible book, please get off my list, because this list is actually for people who at some point will go deeper on the journey with me. There's only so much transformation we can get just on the free front. The real amazing results come when people actually work deeper with me. Mistake number 12, not wearing the most important hats in your business. You might find that you're stuck in admin or client tasks, that you don't have any time for growth or strategy. And as the small business owner, you are not just the one who is the machine operator, the thing that's, doing the thing that makes the business, whether it's coaching sessions or making a product or whatever it is. You need to be wearing more hats than just the machine operator. And you need to be wearing more hats than just the person who is the receptionist, the one who's just answering all of the customer emails. You also need to be the CEO who makes strategic decisions, the one who can see the forest for the trees, the one who decides on the business plan, the one who decides where the business is heading. You need to be the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, who keeps track of the money. And you need to be the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer, who does the marketing and the sales growth of the business. Without the Chief Marketing Officer role being done, your business is at high risk of failing. If you're just wearing the machinist and the receptionist hat, that is not a sustainable business. Mark Cuban from Shark Tank and has, been in so many businesses for so long. He has this quote, and I just think it's genius. It's just, sales cures everything. If you have a problem in your business, sales can cure it. More revenue cures the problems. So having an actual hat that puts you into that mode is really useful. Going, I actually need to spend more time in this mode, in this role, in order to grow my business. You know what I even did? This makes me laugh. When I need to think about hard problems, I bought this hat. It says thinking cap. And I put that on. And it helps me so much. It helps me so much. Maybe I should have a hat for every single every single part of my business. Okay. Letitia says, I tend to avoid the sales hat. Spoiler alert, that's the hat that nobody's touching. And that's why the revenue isn't where it needs to be. Okay. Andy says, the work on putting all these emails and posts together is more than the actual courses. This is heaps of energy I don't have, unfortunately. Okay. So what I want you to do is think about what is in your power, what is in your capacity to actually do. And you can build on that over time. Here's the thing, like the first launches I did not have like a large amount of information about this, like a large, like that quantity. And instead, what I was able to do over time was build on it. So when you're looking at somebody who's done 72 emails in the space of a week, that is somebody who's already done this launch probably 10 times already, and most of them are already written. And they've built on that stash over time. And they've been able to build on their capacity over time as well. I'm also seeing a couple of comments about time and not being able to have the time and busy work. I want you to remember, guys, that I only work 10 hours a week. That's all I've ever worked in my business. People are always like, oh, but that's because you're now a multi-millionaire. That's why you only work this amount of time. No, I've only ever worked 10 hours a week in my business. And like the most amount of time was a period of time when I had about 25 staff about 8 years ago, and it moved up to about 20 hours a week, and I fucking hated it. So I right-sized my business down so it was simple again, and I could only work 10 hours a week. Because before then, I was building my business while I was working for the Australian government as an editor for business.gov.au, and I was building my business on the side. I only left that job when I was pregnant, 9 months pregnant with my baby, my first baby. And my first baby did not sleep. And I also wanted to be a very present caregiver. And so I have always made my business work around the corners of my life. If you're like, how the fuck? I have a program about it. It's called Work Less, Earn More. It's in the academy if you're in the academy. Otherwise, you can just buy it by itself. So it is absolutely doable. Just a reminder as well that I have autism and ADHD. I also am hypermobile and my bones dislocate regularly. So I also have a limited capacity on the things that I do. I get the spoons, and I don't want you to count yourself out before like the game even begins. There is so much enormous possibility for you. Last mistake, perpetual learning and not implementing. If you find yourself in a constant cycle of endless learning, this one is for you. You chew through so many books and podcasts and courses, but you fail to realize that unless you actually implement on what you learn, you aren't going to get a return on your investment. All right, let's finish strong with a frog hat. Oh, that is beautiful. She's beautiful. So unless you actually implement what you learn, you are not going to get the return on your investment. You have to apply what you're learning. See what works, see what doesn't, make it real for you. Clarity and cash comes from doing, not thinking about doing. You actually have to take it into the lab of your business, test it and try it out for yourself. And I have a really great story about this one. So I am reading a book at the moment called the Adweek Copywriting Handbook. And it's like an old school, like this guy was like had his heyday in the 70s and the 80s with blue blocker sunglasses, but it's a fantastic friggin' book. And he was kind of giving all of this information about how to write copy in a way that's compelling. And it was a bit different from how I usually write copy. And I also couldn't work out, like, oh, how do I even do this? And I was like, there was a part of me that's like, doesn't matter. Just keep on going through the book, keep studying. And I was like, no, Leonie, you know that the only way to actually learn from this is by putting it into practice. We learn through our hands. You have to actually put it through your hands in order to fully implement, integrate, test, see what works, experiment. So the whole part in his book was you have to make it a very slippery slope for people, like write something really catchy, tie it into some kind of news event or something interesting that catches people curiosity, and then whoop, they accidentally just keep on reading the whole thing because they're like so intrigued. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And so I sat there for a while brainstorming what interesting little tidbit I could add into it. And the only thing I could think about was something I learned this year about Neanderthals. Now, if you read the sales email or saw the sales post, saw the social media post about this, and you know what I'm talking about, but I'll share it here. So I was reading a book called Sapiens, and it's all about the history of humans. And in it, it talks about the fact that the Homo sapiens, us, are not the only human species that existed. There actually used to be at least 6 human species, including Neanderthals and Denisovians, and a few more. And they all disappeared around about the same time as the Homo sapiens started moving across the earth. So the other human races left Africa before we did, and we all share a common ancestor, but there was a split, and at a certain point, they moved out of Africa before we did, then we followed. And within a few thousand years of us making that migration, they disappeared. The story is like, why did they disappear? How did they disappear? And there's a few reasons why. Firstly, we fucked them out of existence. We are a randy little bunch, and we've been fucking all the other human species, so much so that their DNA is now incorporated into our DNA. So for people have up to 6% of Neanderthal or Denisovian DNA in their systems. And so their lineage ended up kind of merging with our lineage. Other things that could have happened as well on top of that is that we competed for food resources with them, and we won because we were better at hunting. Thirdly, interbreeding. Because they had smaller populations, they were likely doing a lot of inbreeding, which meant that they weren't as healthy. And as somebody who comes from a small town who was trying very hard not to marry a cousin, I feel that. I gets that real hard. So that was that little tidbit that was like hanging around in my head that I really liked. And I was like, okay, this is an interesting little tidbit. And how can I share it in a way that actually like aligns with what I'm trying to sell right now? And I realized it was like you don't want your business to go the way of the Neanderthals, because what can happen is if you don't have the evolutionary advantage, you get sucked into somebody else's business dream, i.e. you end up in their like genetic lineage instead, building their business instead of yours, or you get eaten out of resources from other businesses that are doing the sales and the marketing. And so the evolutionary advantage is to learn new skills, just as Homo sapiens did. They learned more skills in terms of hunting and gathering, which gave them the evolutionary advantage. So I created this email. I tied it all together beautifully and sent it out, created it into a social media post. One, it converted really well. I got more sales from that than any other email I've sent this month. Amazing. Two, the emails I got back from people saying, this is the best email I have read in years. I freaking love this email. Like, well done. And I was like, yes, yes. Because somebody enjoys answering, like reading one sales email, they're going to like be more likely to open more of my emails. And at some point I'll convert them. So I learned so much from that experience of actually doing. And if I'd let it just be in my head of like, I've got to add story, making compelling, but didn't actually try it out my business, it would not be embodied wisdom. And I would not actually see the return on the investment. You see what I'm saying? Clarity and cash come from doing, not just thinking about doing. Now, we've gone through the 13 mistakes that people make, especially women, when it comes to sales and marketing. And when you think about it, it really evolves, like it really comes down to visibility, clarity, and mindset. The truth is, like, those 13 mistakes keep you broke and burned out. And fixing even one of them can transform your income and like the whole trajectory of your life and your business. And fixing them all, however, that's where you create like big money and big impact. If you saw yourself in 2 or 3 mistakes, you are losing money. And every single one of these is completely fixable. And if you're called to it, that's exactly what my program, Big Money, Big Impact, is designed to do. Big money, big impact helps you fix those clarity, visibility, and mindset blocks, but does it in a way where you're actually taking action. You get daily training and motivation to keep you selling. We even have prizes as you earn. So that keeps you so motivated. You get live weekly Q&A calls. You get to learn how to sell with heart and integrity and transparency. You get to create your best month yet. And you get sales and mentoring from a world-class saleswoman who likes to wear silly hats, which is a real bonus in my book. We have all taken courses and not done anything with them. That's why Big Money, Big Impact is really, really, really designed to get you to take action and get results. And I want you to know, like, this is not the first time that I have run this. I ran this earlier this year and the results were exceptional. People were saying this month I've earned 3 times my average month. My final total for this 21 days is $9,000. Somebody earned $7,000 just in one day. People earned $1,439. Somebody did $1,200 in one day. People said best month of sales since August last year. People had £400 in recurring monthly revenue. So that's like how much? £4,800 in annual recurring revenue. People reached their goal in just 5 days. People were selling paintings for over $6,000. 10 healing sessions booked in 72 hours, a new record, 2 original paintings sold. Like the results were just astounding over and over and over again. Like we had the most incredible Facebook group and it was just going off every single day. Christy says, it's truly an epic experience. It made a huge difference in my business and sales. And true story, I did win a prize. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. If you are in my Brilliant Biz and Life Academy, you get Big Money, Big Impact free with your membership. Hooray! Otherwise, you can purchase it individually as well. I'm bringing it back because people kept asking me like, please, 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 can we do this again? Please, 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 can we do this again? Like it was just the celebrations were amazing, and it helped people build those skills. It was like a business and marketing gym, but making it so fun and so collaborative and so enjoyable. So you get 21 days of daily motivation valued at $997, 4 group coaching calls valued at $660, and access to incredible mastermind that is valued at $497. The total value all up is over $2,000, and you pay just $111. That is not a monthly payment. That is just the total cost. And you get the course, the complete course. And we have the most exceptional, miraculous time together. Now, we begin in less than 24 hours. So if you would like to join, you need to get speeding. LeonieDawson.com/big. Christy says we've been begging her to bring it back. The community vibes, feedback, and support was the best I've ever experienced too. Anne says, what? Why did I think it was $1,000? Probably because like people, and I've had people who did Big Money Big Impact and they're like, yeah, but how much is it this time? And I'm like, it's $100. And you get it free because you're in the academy. And they're like, what? What? I like making a wide range of things. I like making it as accessible as possible. And $111 is just such a no-brainer, because then people are like, I absolutely can, if this helps me bring in more sales, that's going to pay for itself instantly. So that's why I love doing it. LeonieDawson.com/big. And we begin tomorrow, which will just be so fun. I want you to think about what you could experience in the next 21 days. You know, some of these results were just so wild. Like people were making like their first sales after going for weeks or months without making any sales. People starting to like have their most amount of sales. People were going to sleep, waking up to sales. There was some person that was so funny. She said, I'm just sitting here just eating pickles in my undies. I just had more sales come through. Like this is a first. And I love hearing that. And when you get results like this and you compound it over and over and over again, it creates the most incredible thing. Like shifting through these sales mistakes and not just learning about them, but actually doing the thing to get you past them and seeing the results. It is an experience unlike any other. So please, please do join me in Big Money, Big Impact. I can't wait to help you create just the most profound results in your business. And if you don't, I'm so glad that you came and spent time with me. Thank you for investing your time with me. I hope you got so much out of this, and I hope you actually start making shifts on the mistakes that you've been making, because when you do, you are going to see such a beautiful result in your revenue and sales as well. The world needs you. It needs your gifts. The world is desperately in need of good-hearted humans and women who have access to capital, because we know from the research that it is us who redirect funds to the places that need it. It is we who spend the money on our children, our communities, and philanthropy at a much higher rate than males. And I feel like they've already had their chance. You know, they've already had like all the access to all the capital, and they've kind of done a pretty shit job, pretty shit job at managing it and making it an incredible experience for all. And it's time for us to have real money in our hands, to have power, to have the resources to do incredible things with. I think back to what I've been able to create because of the excess abundance that I've created. I've now donated over $170,000 in cash to organizations who've needed it. I've been able to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars more in products to charities all around the world who are doing big and profound work. And this is just the beginning. And the more of us that can rise up and be wealthy and do incredible things with our wealth, the more this world can heal. Malia says, do it. Every course I've taken and implemented from Leonie has been fantastic. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anne says, this has so much value in and of itself. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Loretta. I love you, Loretta. I love you. All right, friends. For those who are in Big Money, Big Impact, I will see you all in there tomorrow, and I can't wait to see you create some miracles in there. Thank you for this time. Thank you for everyone else, and I'm sending you all so much love. May you start harvesting all that money on your table. You've got this.